It's not even appropriate for me to start this one with the peace greeting. Now, I will say this: Country Black is on unpaid suspension. It's going to expire in a little bit, but yeah, he's on unpaid suspension. He just be roasting everybody. It's not even just me; it's everybody. Um, but I had to bring in Black Jermaine Ruckus Jenkins Jones Jr. just in case, because frankly, as y'all can tell, I might have to have somebody, it looked like Country Black gonna stay on suspension off and on. And I'm not gonna put all the burden on Razor every time I need somebody to narrate something for me, but I'm gonna tell y'all that my schedule is about to be rough. I got evening shift. Now that's pretty much I'll be starting my teaching shift about the same time most of you are starting your shift. The problem is we're 8 hours ahead. So I'm starting in the evening my time. And I did not request it. I actually volunteered for morning shift. But I was given evening classes because those are, they're not even traditional students. They're adult students that have largely been sent in by their company. And their company will, in fact, promote them if they get better at English. And I'm willing to help them out. But the thing is, I'm not willing to give free grades. So they tend to be more motivated to improve their own English skills. And therefore, it's not as likely that students are going to walk up to my boss later and say, hey, could you go tell Black over there to give me some points? He was real harsh. And no, none. Your English is jacked up. And this has happened. This happened a lot. Now, some of you have said to me before, well, Black, if all your students failed one semester, then that's on you. No, Ninja, I don't think y'all understand how bad Bedouin students can be, because you see, when your worst performing African American student from the worst neighborhood in one of the U.S. public schools fails, they know they failed. When your worst Bedouin fails, well, he knows he failed. He just doesn't fibberguck. He doesn't sit up and say, well, I failed. I'm the one that didn't do what I was supposed to do. Instead, he really has in his mind that your job is to show up and give him a free mark or a free grade, because they've had stuff like this before. So they just been passed along before, and they think, oh, well, it's time to pass. It's time for this guy to pass me along. And I tell my students at the beginning of every semester, your dads bought the tuition for you, and I will deliver that, but they did not buy your grades. I will assess those honestly based on your performance. And frankly, if you leave here but you're not fluent in English, however, you are good at fixing mistakes when they're identified for you, you are more than likely going to pass. Failure means you keep on repeating the same damn mistakes and you're not getting yourselves up to the advanced level. That's what failure means. It means you knew this was a mistake and that was a mistake and that was a mistake, and you repeated every last one of them and you never fixed any of them. Or you fixed half of them and didn't fix the others. That's what failure means. So when my students went to my boss, both semesters, half of them one semester and all of them another semester, went to my boss talking about it's hard, we think we're going to fail. My answer is I got proof of their marks right there in the online platform y'all told us to use. However, my boss has pretty much looked and said, well, you don't play around, but you do your job. So let's put you in front of some of the most and advanced students we got. And I'm like, bet, let's do it. And I'm going to tell these students, if you fix your mistakes, you can pass. The more that you fix, the higher your marks are going to be. And if you fail, it's because you didn't fix enough of them. And I could pretty much put the lessons down about 5 or 6 mistakes all students make in this place. Well, guess what? All this week, I've been going into my office like I'm supposed to. Students have been coming into my office to ask me questions about somebody else. And many of these students just finished the summer semester, advanced level, the same level I teach. And they come in and they ask questions in English, and their English is jacked up. Now, at this point, they're supposed to be bilingual, correctly bilingual for the most part. Very few mistakes, and not mistakes at the elementary or the intermediate levels. These guys are coming in and making very basic foundational level mistakes in English, and they've already taken the exit exams. So I know by listening to them that they failed the exit exam. We're just waiting on the results to come back. And they say, well, I'm here to see what my grade is for this exit exam. And I got to tell them, well, listen, the guy that gets them is not here yet, or he's on his way back, but I can tell by the way you talk, you failed. I hope you didn't talk like this on the exam, because if you talk like that and you passed, they're too lenient. One guy said to me, I was scanned. I was scanned. He didn't know how to say I scanned or I did scan. He didn't know how to say either of these. He couldn't take past tense verbs and conjugate them for the past tense. And that sounds retarded as hell in English. Well, I mean, for a beginner level student, he's got time to learn. But for somebody that just finished taking the last English class they're going to take, and is going to go straight into high level classes that require not only English fluency but English literacy, this nigga's not ready. So when I told him, say, man, you're not supposed to say it that way if you even got into the advanced level. Did nobody correct you all these semesters? And his friend said, what wrong? He was scanned. And I looked at his friend and I said, hey, man, didn't you just say that you're here because you failed the test? And you're going to you want to correct me, and you admitted to me a few minutes ago that you failed the exit exam. And I know you failed it the first time because I watched you take it both times. Now, there's a point where the show has to stop and the reality has to set in. A bunch of people here have been passed on and passed on and passed on until they have a sense of entitlement that's not correct. And then they hit a brick wall at some point. I just happen to be one of them. I'm just one of many. Institutions and the government are getting sick and tired of the entitlement, and they're telling people, don't give free marks. And my bosses told me when I took this job not to give free marks. And now these little ninjas are sitting up here trying to go to the same bosses that told me not to give free marks and free grades to ask for free grades. And I see the same thing happening. In a nutshell, I see the same thing happening with you over there where you live, stateside. I look at you where you are and I say, well, you know, it's about time that the bill came due. And that the bill came due to those who actually sat and ate at the table. It is time for that bill to come due. And you have looked at sisters and you have said, don't look at me, bitch, pay that bill. You ate, pay it. See, many of you have said that they're all feminists until the bill comes due. And I would agree. For the most part, all feminists are feminists until the bill comes due and there's a guy sitting anywhere nearby. Women will make memes and say things like the feminism leaving my body when the restaurant bill comes due. Wait, what do you mean? Why is the feminism leaving your body now? No, dummy. Should have left your body before the bill came due. If it was going to leave, don't wait till the bill shows up and there's a guy around and say, I'm not a feminist. Could you pay this for me? See, if you were going to compare the West to a restaurant, the Westernisha is like the one that went in and ate the most and kept ordering and kept ordering and kept ordering. And sometimes when the bill came due, she would sit up and say, well, hold on, and she would try to get some guy that wasn't even with her that had his own bill and paid his own bill to pay her bill too. And when no one takes that bill, then she sits up and says, she goes back to the server and says, well, listen, I want to add something to the bill just so that the server gets busy, and it delays her a little bit longer because the bill's got to be printed up. A new bill's got to be printed up with a new item on it. I'm going to take this to go. Can you add this on? Hey, could you pay this? Could you pay that? The Westernishas are like the custom or the guest at restaurants. Nice restaurants, because it's the West. that that ate and ate and ate and drank and ate and drank and ordered, and they ate the healthiest food and the junk food. They just ate, and they ate well and they drank well, and now they're completely full. But they're looking for the men that are in the restaurant that they didn't even know in order to pay the bills for them. And some of them are resorting to even saying, I'm going to sue this guy over here because he harassed me. He asked if he could join me at my table. That's harassment. I'm suing y'all and I'm suing him so that they don't have to pay. So that they can force the guy through the courts to pay for her, or force the restaurant. So that now, instead of her paying the restaurant, she goes and eats and then sues him and sues the restaurant so that she can get paid on top of eating. That's the Westernisha. And you now, you young brothers especially, my age group is split and divided in between, but you young guys are pretty much the main ones that are set up and said, you told us to leave you alone. We left you alone. We did not order your food for you. We didn't eat any of it. We didn't drink any of it. We are paying the bill for what we ate and what we drank, not you. We do not owe you chivalry because you don't owe us anything. Neither of us owes the other one anything, so I owe you no chivalry. I owe you no generosity. Not owing crap goes both ways. This is what we are facing. I'm looking at you now and I'm saying, well, now you are the ones that are telling them that not only is the bill due, but it is their bill and you're not paying it and you don't want to hear a damn thing about it. You're the main ones. As a matter of fact, you're the only ones now that have had the courage to get up, look them in the face, and tell them this. It's just you. Nobody else has had this courage to sit up, look them in the face, and tell them, hey, look, you are now going to pay your own bill and leave us the hell alone. Don't ask us about this money. It's not ours. It's not yours. The bill, don't ask us about the bill because the bill ain't ours and our money ain't yours. That's exactly how the hell this has to happen. In my generation, when we were your age, my generation did not have the thought, let alone the fortitude to do this. The only guys that could socially get away with talking like that were the ones they just wanted to smash anyway. They really couldn't get away with talking like that, but they could get away with that. Matter of fact, they weren't even asked for anything. That's how different it is. And so now I look at you guys and I understand why it is that not everything you do, but I understand why it is that you take the approach to the ladies that you take, which is to not approach them. And I'm gonna tell you, young guys, you are now under more pressure. I've heard people say that you're under more pressure to make approaches. I've heard dudes that are even sometimes younger than me sitting up talking about how they wish you could have grown up like them. The way I'm telling you the same thing that Trey told Kane in that movie Menace to Society. The way we grew up was sure bit. With Trey's dad, yeah. Trey's dad told Kane, hey man, take my boy and raise him right, man. Teach him that the way we grew up was sure bit, and I'm telling you that. I'm telling you the same thing. The way that we grew up was some crap. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy that set up and said that he wished that you all could know the exhilaration of trying to riz a lady up and it works and you get her number. You know why I don't want that for you? The reason I don't is because that's just a phone number. Then what? He talks about how you call the number and then you got to go through mom and ask if Charlene is there and available. I mean, what happens when you call and it's not even her number? Ain't no Charlene here. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Did I dial this number? Look, man, that ain't Charlene's number. I don't know who she is. Charlene gave you the wrong number. Maybe the wrong name, too. He didn't mention that part. He forgot every single barrier. And the thing is that for you all, if you were to go through all of these barriers, you would get the same results as most of the guys in my age group. You get the divorces, the divorce settlements. You get cheated on before that point. Not only that, you get blocked. When you are finally free and then you decide you're going to go and get someone else, if you stay in the States to do that, trying to date someone else or remarry someone else, it's going to be, even if you're childless, it's going to be the single moms. These women are not willing to get with you out of love. It's got to be because of help. Even when these women hit the wall and they start talking about why they want a man or why they need a man, they start listing everything except their love of men. That's the one thing they don't mention. Nothing in it that they don't say anything about it that's convenient for the man because they don't want anything to be convenient for the man. They start mentioning the labor they got to do because they're single and the bills they got to pay because they're single, and they don't mention anything about what they're going to give to the man. The friendliest set of reasons I heard was yesterday when I was going through YouTube, and this one lady was like, I want to be able to have some adventures and be able to take the photographs with the man and then also take those photos that we can't show nobody else, it's just me and him. That was the friendliest thing I heard. You see, you young guys, you're going to have a lot of time to yourselves now because you are going to be single and you're going to be single a lot. That's not your fault. It wasn't an option. You were going to be single a lot no matter what. I just want you guys to understand that if you got married and you got married to a good woman, the way I'm married to a good woman that I love, that loves me, you are still going to need time by yourself. And you're going to need that time by yourself because even good women are not necessarily going to understand you. I'm talking about good women that don't mean you any harm. That doesn't mean they're going to understand you. They'll make the effort. Some will, some won't, but the good one is the one that will at least make the effort. She will at least try to understand as much as she needs you to understand her. Most of them insist that you learn to understand them, but they do not try to understand you because they're not even going to do that much studying and paying that much attention. That's the bulk. I've had to say this at times. I even had to flex on my wife a little bit and tell her, no, I know you better than you know me. I absolutely do know you better than you know me. I understand you more than you understand me. And she said, how? And I even said to her, it's not even because I'm necessarily smart or anything. It's just one thing. I made the effort to, and I pay attention. That's why if you say something, you only have to repeat yourself if you said it really quickly or if there was some sound interference that stopped me from hearing you clearly. If look, if that's not the case, I pay attention to you. I have to tell you shit 2 and 3 times. You routinely ask me something right after I answered you. You ask, I answer. You ask me again, I say, I just told you that. Routinely. You are not a communicator. You're not a listener. This is a good woman. I'm not saying she's not. I'm saying that when it comes down to actually paying attention, that's something that I tend to do better. There could be no sound going on. No sound interference. And I say something to her, huh? What do you mean, huh? I just said it. There was no other sound. I spoke slowly. You were just looking at your phone and you didn't focus when you heard me talk. When I'm on my phone and I hear you talk, I pause it and I pay attention to you so that I hear you, because the phone is something I can come back to. You're a living person. I pay attention. Now, I'm married to a good and loving wife, and she tells me how much she appreciates me and shows it. But see, a lot of you are never going to find that. And I'm actually pissed off on your behalf, because not only are you never going to find it, you are told that you are required to do all of this work just in the search for which you will never find. And AC was right when he said that you could sit up and try to find the good ones because they may exist, but by the time you find them, you will be broke and broke in. So why look? Why search? These women are going to attack your manhood because they've already done it. They've already started attacking your manhood since you don't make approaches. And what I'm saying to you is, no, that part is not true. You're actually very smart. Because when you think about it, you have almost no chance of finding a good one. You have almost no chance of finding one that actually is going to admit that you have any value. You also have almost no chance of finding one that's not going to demand that you actually have a lot of value just so she can refuse to admit that you have it. Then on top of that, you're supposed to chase and wow and woo and impress her ass so that you qualify to pay her bills for the rest of her life. You are literally chasing an extra burden. That's literally what you were doing. And you were told that that's your job. To not only take on a bunch of problems, but to chase down the source of these problems and convince them to apply the problems to you. And the one thing the one thing that everybody says is supposed to offset that is they're not even going to do enough to offset it. You were literally supposed to go through a set of frustrations just to take on another set of frustrations and pay for the insult. If you get married to a good wife, there will be times you'll need alone, and she would need that too, because every person needs time just to themselves. That's a human thing. But you would find yourself needing plenty of it because you would not necessarily be understood. That's when things are generally healthy. You're not even offered the chance at anything generally healthy. And I know, because you see, many have said that these actual truly lonely women are indoors. They're not finding anybody. Why the hell should you be trying to find them in their own homes? You shouldn't. They should be trying to find you in your home. Yes, I'm saying that the good ones, yes, absolutely, the ones who act the way that I would want my daughters to act, and hope to God they do, they should be out there trying to locate you. And the first ones to do that are going to go to the nicest neighborhoods to find those guys, of course. And when those guys are taken, the next wave are going to have to go to the next nicest neighborhoods until there ain't going to be no neighborhoods where you got these guys that are by themselves, but otherwise good guys, except the hood. So let the boldest women get the best financial situations if they're going to get them. One double standard that you guys need is to be willing to go ahead and start conversations with women in other countries where they're more traditional, while you refuse to be the one that starts and makes the first move in a Western context, where they talk about women's equality. Not where it's actually practiced, but where they talk about equality, using that word equality. That is where you don't make the first move. Because why the hell should you? Equal rights, right? You still gonna have to pay more than she does. So in that case, since they're all equal, why should you be the first one to initiate? The hell for? What is that about? You better get a whole lot out of it, and that's why you would want to go to places where you can get a lot out of it. Now, I'll be one of those that'll tell you. I mentioned once before how some brothers are out there ruining certain environments. I didn't mean that they were ruining them for everybody, like in Thailand, as an example. And I was mostly talking about Pattaya. Brothers that are out there ruining Pattaya are not ruining it for every single person. I just don't want brothers to ruin things for other brothers. And that's why I say to brothers, don't be dealing with the loosest of the women. And don't let those ladies pretend in front of you like they're not box vendors. How do you avoid that? Deal with the ones that ain't box vendors. Don't go looking for them. Don't go trying to buy some trim. I say that because the ones that want to act like they're not box vendors after they sell the box are going to go for guys that treat them the least like they're box vendors. Who treats those kinds of women the least like they're box vendors? That's us. Because we're not generally mean to any women that aren't mean to us. Women that sell box aren't walking around in other countries. They're not walking around mean to men like that. So since they're not mean to us, we're not mean to them. So unfortunately, what that does is that it does make us a target for those who want to put on the most airs like they're not vending box. It's not that I think brothers can ruin things for everybody. We can't. I just don't want brothers to ruin it for other brothers that come later on. That's what I'm not looking for. See, when I was in Bali, and there was that one day when I went to the wrong Bali Zoo. Went to this tattoo parlor on Legion Street. And that's because I typed in Bali Zoo and I picked the wrong location. So he dropped me there, and it wasn't nothing like a zoo. And when I got out, and I decided, you know what, I'm going. He dropped me where he was supposed to. I said, let me just go ahead and walk up to this corner that I saw up there and catch a ride from there back to where I was staying. I was by myself. There were only two times I was by myself in Bali. One was that time, and the other one was the next day when I went to the correct Bali Zoo, so I could get these nature photographs that I like. So I went this day and got out to ride, and then I walked up the street, and this is during the daytime. I wasn't there at night. And while there were these ladies talking about massage, massage, and all that, this time they were bold because I was by myself. They were like, sexy massage, boom, boom, sexy massage. One lady stepped in front of me as I tried to step around her. Another one held my arm, grabbed my elbow to tell me this. They were trying it. They were really trying it. They weren't trying to stop everybody per se. They were telling everybody what they were doing, but they tried to stop me. That was the difference. Now, I'm not necessarily recognizable as a brother. So I don't think they were doing that just because of my race. But I'm going to tell you straight up, imagine that a recognizable brother had been in front of me and they were just swarming at him. Sexy massage, boom, boom, massage, grabbing his arm and singling him out. Now, on one hand, I would have been like, well, it could be that that's who they want. Since they got to sell the box anyway, I guess that's who they would want, and that maybe that's their preferred customer. But by the same token, I would look and say, but what makes them think that he's more open to it? What's that about? I don't know why they'd necessarily single me out. I mean, they didn't say it. Could have been good or bad. It certainly wasn't racial. But what I can tell you is this: I can tell y'all straight away, man, that I don't want those kinds of women to be the only ones that are going to go and approach brothers anywhere we go. That's not. I don't want that to be the case. That I do not want. And one reason I don't necessarily think that I am the most or the least attractive man out of the men that you would see walking around in Bali, it's not because I could look and necessarily make a comparison. The reason I don't think I was the most or the least is because other women were very polite when we had reason to talk, but they also weren't necessarily making approaches like that. They were making, two of them made approaches in different ways, showed some choosing signals in different ways. One, I went to go pick up the pizza for my wife, for her and me. So I complimented, I told the lady to please give the chef my compliments. The pizza was actually pretty good. She smiled, wanted to give me a high five, and looked me up and down. Some other things too. At the times I wasn't, and that time I was with my wife, I just wasn't with her right there at the pizza place. Another time when I dropped off some laundry, some of the ladies that were working at the laundromat eyeballed me, some of them didn't. So it could have gone either way. But what I don't want is for brothers to go anywhere on this planet and only be approached by women that are selling the box. And that's why I say to you, be careful, be picky, be all that. That's the reason I tell y'all that stuff. I don't say that because I'm just being mean or because I'm trying to dingling block, nothing like that. No, I say that because you see, I don't want any of you to go through a situation where the only time you were ever approached is when she ain't got nothing to offer or when she has less than everybody else. I don't want any brother to have that experience of only being approached when there's something wrong with her or her situation. And in the West, that's exactly what the hell it's going to be. I don't want that to be the same thing when you go abroad. It's just that it's better abroad than it is in the States. And so you still wind up with the worst possible outcome. I still don't want that. I don't want that for y'all because you don't deserve that. And frankly, the way I've seen sisters check out other brothers when I'm around other brothers, and the way I've seen other women check out other men when I'm around them and not notice me, tells me that that's not necessarily what that, they still notice you. That is the case. They can see you. So I don't want you to be stuck with just the worst options because those are the only ones that made the first approach. And I also don't want you to make the mistake of thinking that you should learn how to approach when you're living in the West because there's no right way to do it. There isn't one. I don't want you to be seen as husband material by women that are being SLUTs in the beginning. I also don't want women to see you as just sex tourists. I want women to, when they see you, I want women to understand that you are husband material if they are wife material, and that if they are not, they should sit the F back. And if they want to be SLUTs and run the risk of diseases and everything else, they should go and do that with somebody else. Go do that to the colonizer. Make them sick. If they want to scope somebody, let them go after Mr. Charlie. If they want to extort somebody, I want them to do that to those, not to you. They can do that to Brad, not you. That's what I don't want. And I have seen some videos where some brothers are in Southeast Asia being treated and handled in ways that they used to not do brothers. They used to not target brothers for that, from what I could see. But now I'm seeing some videos where, one of the Thai ladies feels comfortable going after a brother with a knife. Another one's extorting a a brother in the lobby of some building and flipping them off. Now, some of them will just do that to anybody. It doesn't matter what you are. I understand that. That's not your fault. But I do not want to. I don't want a situation in which they see you and think of you as an easier target. I actually don't even want a situation where they look at you and say, "I'm just going to get him because he's not from here." I don't even want that. I want a situation where when they see you, they say, "No, don't. Let's not try that with him." And when they see Brad, they try it. That's really what I want for y'all. But I can tell you this: if you try making approaches while you were in the West, the way those broads are going to respond is going to be in such a way that they will teach you to settle for and expect the worst, so that when you do go abroad, the worst ones will find you to be easy pickings. That's why I tell you, do not go trying to make approaches in the West. Don't even try to learn how to do it. Don't even do it. Don't even bother, because it's not only going to be the good women in these other countries that are going to look at the way the Westernisha treated you and say to her, "Thank you for sending them over here." It's not only the good women abroad that are going to say that. Oh no. Before they say that, the worst women will also say that. They're also grateful. The worst ones over there are also sitting up glad that the Yankee women don't know how to treat you, and that they're running you away. They're glad too. They're cashing in on that. And that's why I don't want you buying trim per se. It's not just because I don't have a sense of reality because of my religious beliefs. No, I got a sense of reality, but it's also because I can see down long. I can see what's coming down the pike. I can see the long run, the long term. There was there was a time when the West was not like what it is now. It got this way over time. You got to start looking at what it was that allowed it to get that way, so that you don't try to introduce these things to other environments that make them the same way. As best you could possibly avoid it, you avoid it. That's why I say these things. I don't I don't ever want to see you relegated to the worst. Like never. I never want to see that happen to you. See you relegated to the absolute worst of anything in any market, period. If you came here to this country and you're Muslim, I want to know which ladies here have the hardest time finding husbands. And I want to make sure that they don't come and target you. Because why should you be the one that's stuck with her? How's that fair to you? Now, if one of them happens to like you and then she wants you to talk to her dad and to her, and it's personal, then fine. But for them to be, I mean, if brothers came over here, let's say just the brothers that are Muslim came over here and they were looking to marry, even in a case like that, which is not fornication, I would not want brothers here to be stuck with only the ladies that nobody else will marry. I wouldn't want that. If men here won't marry women that are above 25, I don't want to see the women own. I don't want all of y'all to only be married to women that are above 28. Because why were they available? If they were available, and I know this sounds like it's pretty much me reversing the Westernisha psychology on women, but you have to remember this. The nature is the same. It's the nurture that's different. You have to keep that in mind. And ladies don't tend to respect men that get with them when when nobody else wanted them. Ladies themselves don't seem to respect that. Women that are loose will look at guys that get with them and be like, well, I mean, I know I'm loose. I was out there just popping it open for everybody. And this guy's okay with that? Women can sit up and know that the husband does not know this about their past, and they can lose respect for him because he doesn't somehow magically figure it out. They can lose respect. How much so when they know that you know this about them? And it's the same thing. Even if you were here, if they know that they would have never been with you had they been at the age when local men want to marry them, but then you married them, they start looking at you like, oh man, even if it ain't no big deal to him and his culture, they just take anything, don't they? Hell, maybe I'll just call my girlfriends up and tell them. Because they don't have, it's sad to say this, but it's still true. They just don't have that sense of, well, some of them don't have that sense of you probably shouldn't take him for granted, or you probably shouldn't diss him like that, or it's not really something that they, what's the best way I could say it? They don't always pay attention to that. Yeah, they don't always pay attention to that. So they're not always careful about that, about what that means to you. So, or how well they're hiding that. That's really what I should probably get at. They're not always careful about that. Sometimes they just let you know that that's how they view it. And you're looking at them like, well, dang, that's how you view me? The hell did I do? So when you sit up saying sometimes, look, I treasured you and treated you well when other men didn't want you, and you're not appreciative, they look at you and be like, the hell no, I'm not appreciative. Because why the hell would you do it? You must be inferior. That's a hell of a way to view it, but there are those that will view like that, and some of them are even here. Now, they may be in the minority right now, but there'll come a time when more of them start to act like that, more of them start to view it that way. As wrong as it is. So in any case, I know I've gone long enough. But yeah, you young brothers, y'all have driven a hard bargain, and I'm glad that you do. I really am. And I just don't want you all to make that mistake of being too easy of a bargain when you go elsewhere. You should be fair, yeah, but I don't want y'all to make the mistake of being too easy of a bargain when you go to other places, because of what you didn't know or because of what no one explained. That's really all it is. That's the major thing about major concern I have that you avoid. That's really it. I appreciate you all listening, and I mean that from the bottom of my black heart and from the depths of my black mind. As always, black heart, black mind, blackout, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual, non-select male power because they don't like it, and black patriarchy until extinction of judgment day. Thank you for flying with us here on Jet Black Air, where the phrase jet black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.